If you carry the weight of a weary world on your shoulders, where you entered through the doors with a song in your heart and a skip in your step, we are glad you're here. If you are the loudest voice in town, in the town square, or the subtle hand behind the scenes, we are glad you're here. If you have failed once or 1,000 times, we are glad you're here. If you sing like angels or mumble behind the hymnal, we are glad you are here. This community is what it is because of your presence. So welcome. Welcome into this space of love and support, justice, compassion, fellowship, and worship. We are so glad that you are here.
For our meditation this morning, I'm going to read one short sentence and we can dwell on that for a minute or so. Let us open our minds and hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and the soft, gentle coming of love. Good morning. Today's talk will be a little on the lighter side. Our world is on fire, imploding, exploding. Insert the metaphor of your choice. I'm overwhelmed. I'm sure you're overwhelmed. Some nights I sleep and some nights I don't. Last night was one of those nights. It's never a good idea to read Heather Cox Richardson right before you go to sleep. Wait till morning. Oh. So today it's rainbows and unicorns. Well, rainbows anyway. Just like in real life, unicorns ended up on the cutting room floor. So what do you think of when you think of a rainbow, see a rainbow? What thoughts come to mind?
Gay pride.
Gay pride, joy. Your new house? Cool.
There was a rainbow in the sky one day when I was coming to look at it.
Oh, perfect.
Which, right next to this neighborhood.
Oh, nice. Nice. Anybody else?
Hopefulness.
Hopefulness. Yeah.
Renewal.
Renewal.
Because it's usually seen after rain.
That's right.
And rejuvenation.
Right.
Noah.
Noah. The rainbow, of course, has become the #1 symbol of the LGBTQIA+ community, with its various colors representing the diversity of that spectrum of people. It's also, of course, a naturally occurring phenomenon, often seen as, at least in our culture, as a symbol of beauty, of hope, promise, renewal, joy, because, of course, they come after rain or storm. Historically, though, the rainbow has been seen in a lot of different ways, some of which you'll know and some of which will be probably new to you. A bridge, personification of particular gods, clothing of particular gods, a serpent, a dragon, an archer's bow. The first occurrence in literature is in Genesis, in the book of it's Genesis, the part of the flood story of Noah, a sign of God's covenant never to destroy the earth again, at least not by flood. In Tibetan Buddhism, there is the idea of the rainbow body, a state of spiritual accomplishment where the physical body dissolves into pure light, often occurring at the time of death. This state is achieved through years of advanced disciplined meditation practices that allow practitioners to directly perceive the clear light and transcend the limitations of the physical body. Individual desire and consciousness are extinguished. This liberated, non-material body of light exists wherever and whenever, as pointed to by one's compassion. The rainbow body phenomenon is actually pre-Buddhist in origin and is related to the indigenous Tibetan Bon religion. Several West African religions incorporate personified rainbow spirits, and in Maori mythology, rainbows represent omens and are appealed to at times of war. In Mesopotamian mythology, the goddess Manzat was the personification of the rainbow. And in ancient Greek mythology, the messenger goddess Iris is the personification of the rainbow. She connects the mortal world with Olympus, the abode of the gods, through her messages. She has golden wings and bright-colored clothing. She's known for her incredible speed and agility. Iris's messages often concerned war and retribution. In some stories, Iris also carries water from the river Styx, which is necessary for the oaths of the gods. So you can see that connection there with water also. In Hawaiian myths too, the rainbow is a messenger goddess, Anue Nue. She serves as the messenger for her brothers, the gods Tain and Kanaloa. In Cherokee mythology, the rainbow forms the hem of the sun's coat. In Albanian folklore, the goddess Prende was worshipped by women in the north. The rainbow was believed to be Prende's belt, and legend had it those who jumped over her belt, the rainbow, would change their sex. Prende is seen as the dawn goddess, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. Her festival is celebrated annually on July 26th with vibrant colored clothing and a mortal and pestle representing sexual union. She is also called Aphrodite, an Albanian phrase meaning the day is near or dawn. Prende is the daughter of the sky and lightning god and is identified with the cult of Venus. In Aboriginal Australian mythology, the rainbow serpent deity was seen both as a creator god and a force of destruction. The rainbow serpent was generally considered to control the rain and concealed itself in water holes during the dry season. The notion that the rainbow bridge to heaven is attainable only by the good or virtuous, gods, warriors, royalty, that's a common theme in world myths. And here in our modern US culture, many take comfort in the idea of the rainbow bridge as an afterlife for animals or a place where our deceased pets wait for we human companions to join them. In Japanese mythology, there's also a bridge, a rainbow bridge, the floating bridge to heaven. It's thought to be inspired by the rainbow. In Norse mythology, also the rainbow is a bridge, Bifrost, thought to mean the trembling rainbow or the shaking rainbow. Some also believed it represented the aurora borealis. The bridge is guarded by the god Heimdall, who is responsible for ensuring its safety and access. The gods cross it every day, except for the god Thor, because it was believed he might break it. The bridge will be destroyed at the end of the world because it won't be needed anymore. In movies today, based on the Marvel comic book universe, Bifrost is a dimensional energy that allows instantaneous travel between the realms. And I like the idea of this old myth. It's current in movies today. That's fun. In Navajo tradition, the rainbow is the path of the Holy Spirits and is frequently depicted in sacred sand paintings. Of all the rainbow myth stories I read about, this one may be my favorite. In Chinese mythology, the rainbow is described as the patch from melted colored stones to fix a crack in the sky by the goddess Nuwa. I love the imagery of that. Nuwa is also credited with creating humanity and repairing the pillar of heaven. Linguistics professor Robert Blust studied taboos against pointing at rainbows after he observed it firsthand and found that at least 124 cultures around the world have or have had taboos against pointing at rainbows. The ideas of what would happen to you if you pointed at a rainbow did vary a lot by culture, but included consequences such as the finger becoming bent, withering, becoming paralyzed, swollen, rotting, developing ulcers or maggots. Yikes. And sometimes these ill effects would befall your mother instead of you, which struck me as very odd until I remembered that childhood chant, step on a crack and break your mother's back. We had a similar sort of weird thing. You do something and it affects your mother. That's horrible. Mostly it was specifically pointing with your index finger that was prohibited. You could nod your head at it, stick out your tongue at it, raise your fist to it, but don't point at it with your index finger. But if you accidentally pointed at it with your index finger, there were remedies. You could wet your finger by putting it into your mouth or your belly button or some other damp crevice of your body, and I'll let your imagination, you can figure that out on your own. Or, according to the Javanese version of the taboo, you could plunge it into a pile of buffalo dung. Lovely. The Suma of Honduras and Nicaragua refer to the rainbow as Walasa Anue, the devil is vexed. The Suma hide their children in their huts to keep them from looking at or pointing at rainbows. In some Amazonian cultures, rainbows are associated with malignant spirits that cause harm, including skin problems and miscarriages. A tradition of closing one's mouth at the sight of a rainbow in order to avoid disease is thought to predate the Incan Empire. Dr. Blust writes that these taboos highlight a widespread cultural understanding of rainbows as powerful or sacred deities, gods, a manifestation of another realm. Rainbows are assigned a mixture of fear, awe, and reverence we typically afford to the spiritual or godlike. Also, Blust says pointing is widely viewed as an aggressive act. Sometimes tourist guidebooks advise travelers not to point at anyone to avoid the behavior because it's seen as aggressive, and one would naturally want to avoid acting aggressively toward a powerful or sacred being. So it makes sense. Now for a bit of science trivia, which some of you likely know, but maybe not all the little things I'm going to talk about. Of course, the optical phenomenon of the rainbow is caused by refraction, internal reflection, and dispersion of light in water droplets, resulting in the continuous specter of light appearing in the sky. Rainbows caused by sunlight always appear in the section of the sky opposite the sun and are caused by many forms of airborne water, including rain, mist, spray, and airborne dew. Does anybody know the mnemonic for remembering the colors of the rainbow? Say it again? What I read was Richard of York gave battle in vain. Richard red, orange, yellow, York gave, green, battle, blue, indigo for I, V for violet. Red is always on the outside of the rainbow, violet always on the inside, except when there's a double rainbow. When there's a double rainbow, the second one is seen outside the primary rainbow, and the order of the colors is reversed. I never knew that. I'm 64 years old and learning that for the first time. By the way, Richard of York did give battle in vain. He died, he was killed in battle, the Battle of Wakefield in 1460. A little bit of trivia maybe you didn't know. Moonbows or lunar rainbows or nighttime rainbows are perceived to be white due to our poor human visual perception in low light. And fog bows, or ghost rainbows, or white rainbows, very rare and occur when sunlight interacts with very small water droplets in fog, low-lying clouds. Unlike regular rainbows, fog bows appear pale or white, ghostly, with only very faint hints of red or blue. The nearly colorless arc of a fog bow is seen as a symbol of hope, good luck, new beginnings, a reminder of God's grace, especially after a period of difficulty, a message that one's challenges, like represented by the fog, are lifting and a brighter future is emerging. Kansas-born artist, designer, and activist Gilbert Baker is the creator of our rainbow pride flag. Baker served in the U.S. Army from 1970 to 72, stationed as a medic in San Francisco at the beginning of the gay rights movement, living there as openly gay man. After his honorable discharge, he worked on the first marijuana legislation initiative and was taught to sew by his fellow activist, Mary Dunn, although some sources state he was self-taught. Maybe a combination of that, I guess. He used his skills to create banners for gay rights and anti-war protest marches. He met and became friends with Harvey Milk. He joined the gay drag activist group, Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Baker stated, at first it was glamorous and political, but then when the sisters became more organized, it became a tool of the right wing and raised money for Jerry Falwell, so I stopped. He was referring to video and images of the group used for right-wing Christian efforts. He first created the rainbow flag in 1978 and refused to trademark it, seeing it as it was a symbol for the LGBT community. Baker stated, what I liked about the symbolism of the rainbow is that it fits us. It's all the colors. It represents all genders. It represents all the races. It's the rainbow of humanity. A year later, in 1979, he began working at the Paramount Flag Company in San Francisco and designed flags for Dianne Feinstein, the premier of China, presidents and kings, and many others, including the Democratic National Convention. In 1994, Baker moved to New York City, where he lived for the rest of his life, continuing his creative work and his activism. That year, he created what was then the world's largest flag in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the 1969 Stonewall riots, which that anniversary was just this week. It was a mile long, 30 feet by 5,280 feet, and it was carried by 5,000 people. We opted out of a story for all ages today due to time constraints and also that we didn't expect any children, but I did want to show you this beautiful picture of illustrator Stephen Salerno's visualization of that mile-long flag being held by 5,000 people. Isn't it a gorgeous picture? Really gives a good idea of just how long that thing was. In 2003, to commemorate the rainbow flag's 25th anniversary, Baker created a rainbow flag that stretched from the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic Ocean in Key West. And after the commemoration, he sent sections of the flags to more than 100 cities around the world. Due to his creation of the rainbow flag, Baker often used the drag queen name Busty Ross, alluding, of course, to Betsy Ross. The first rainbow flags comprised 8 symbolic colors: hot pink for sex, red for life, orange for healing, yellow for sunlight, green for nature, turquoise for magic and art, indigo for serenity, and violet for spirit. The flag has undergone several revisions. The most common current version Baker referred to as the commercial version. It has 6 stripes, and it came about due to practical considerations of mass production. The hot pink fabric, for one, was too rare and expensive to include, and it lost the turquoise stripe before the 1979 Gay Freedom Day parade in San Francisco, as the committee organizing the parade wanted to fly the flag in 2 equal halves from light poles along both sides of Market Street. So it became a 6-striped flag so they could have 3 equal stripes. 10 years ago this week, June 26, 2015, when marriage equality was legalized, historic places around the world were lit up in rainbow, including the White House. The following year, in 2016, Baker was invited to the White House to personally present President Barack Obama with a small hand-dyed rainbow flag. Gilbert Baker died at home in New York City in his sleep at the end of March in 2017 at the age of 65 of hypertension and cardiovascular disease. A memorial service was held in San Francisco under one of his flags. A few months later, on June 2nd, which would have been his 66th birthday, Google paid tribute to Gilbert Baker with a Google Doodle. The animated doodle featured several strips of fabric in multiple colors coming together to form the flag. Just this year, 2025, I think in January, the minor planet number 429733 was named Gilbert Baker in his honor. The website gilbertbaker.com focuses on protecting Baker's legacy, the rainbow flag. According to the site, the rainbow flag has been banned in over 60 towns and school districts so far. The Gilbert Baker Foundation has partnered with the ACLU to fight back against this war of hate. In Saudi Arabia and other like-minded countries, being gay remains illegal, and rainbow-colored items have been subject to scrutiny and confiscation due to their association with the LGBTQ+ community. Selling rainbow-colored children's items is illegal there, and authorities seize children's clothing, hats, hair clips, pencil cases, toys, anything really rainbow-colored, claiming they contradict Islamic faith and public morals and encourage homosexuality, especially in relation to the younger generation. There are now over 24 pride flags representing the diversity of the LGBTQIA+ community. If you think about how that acronym has grown over the years, you'll get a better idea of why there are such a variety of pride flags. Common pride flag, the updated pride flag, progress pride, transgender pride, bisexual pride, lesbian pride, gay pride, non-binary pride, the intersex pride, agender pride, Philadelphia people of color inclusive pride, pansexual pride, asexual pride, gender fluid pride, polysexual pride, polyamory pride, genderqueer pride, demisexual pride, aromantic pride, lesbian lapras pride, bear pride, twink pride, two-spirit pride, rubber pride, leather pride, and straight ally pride, and I'm sure I am missing some of them. Some of these are so that the smaller groups can find each other at events such as pride parades, in addition to, of course, displaying members' pride in their identity. Scattered around the sanctuary this morning are a variety of the flags, not all 24+ varieties. Feel free to take one or more home with you. The one on your chair doesn't speak to you, feel free to grab another one here. Unitarian Universalists are, of course, deeply supportive of gay rights in the LGBTQIA+ movements. And our congregations and members regularly and proudly fly our rainbow flags, and not just in June. They are a visible representation of our support, and we see the display of the pride flag as a means of celebrating progress, advocating for representation, and amplifying the demand and drive for continuous collective action, now more than ever. May it always be so. Amen, and blessed be.